Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX Headlines, where we cover the real news that matter to we the people. All right. We're back covering headlines. For those of y'all that's new, basically I go over headlines that's connected to my news feeds. If anything, any of the headlines sound interesting to me, I click on them and go into them in more detail. And that's pretty much how we do things. All right. Let me get a sip of water and go ahead and get started. We're going to start over here on the right with the Gateway Pundit. All right. Let's see what we got. Innocent bystanders shot in Times Square outside Marriott Hotel in broad daylight. Unfortunately, it's par for the course in New York. This is what happens when you defund the police and you let people get away with petty crimes. The crimes just get worse and worse and worse. It's called the broken window effect. If y'all don't know what that is, I suggest y'all go look into that. National Archives Racism Task Force says Rotunda examples of structural racism, smears white founding fathers. Wow. Breaking, radical Oregon Democrats pass bill to give illegals Medicaid. Who's going to pay for that? I'm going to tell you who's going to pay for that. It's the middle class. That's who pays the highest taxes. Let's see. Gunman with fully automatic rifle opens fire in Chicago traffic in broad daylight. They got the video. Let's see. Gunman with fully automatic rifle opens fire in Chicago traffic in broad daylight. They got the video. Meanwhile, in the Democrat utopia Chicago, dash cam video captured a gunman with a fully automatic rifle opening fire in broad daylight in Southside Chicago. A man stuck in traffic captured the shooting on Thursday morning. Dash cam video show a man with an automatic rifle exit a red Nissan Altima and start shooting at another vehicle stuck in traffic on 87th near Lafayette Ave. This is crazy. Meanwhile, Lori Lightfoot is diverting COVID funds to fight systematic racism. And here's the video.
New tonight, a man stuck in traffic, but all of a sudden he's right in the middle of a shootout. Guns in the open, shots fired. Our Charlie DeMar tracked down the driver with one wild story.
87th near Lafayette on Chicago's south side. It's where Huber Perez Negron found himself stuck in traffic, stopped at a red light, driving with a friend Thursday morning, just running some errands. His dash cam, which records inside the car and out, was rolling. First, someone gets out of the back seat of the car in front of Huber with a long gun and begins shooting. Another man also jumps out of the back seat and fires into traffic, aiming at a car stopped a few vehicles in front of Huber.
And I saw the rifle in his hand. I really didn't think it was real. I really thought, man, these other guys are going to shoot back, and I'm directly right behind him.
Huber and his friends slouch to try and avoid any possible incoming shots, but he doesn't take his seatbelt off. He doesn't even blink, staying focused on the action the entire time.
And then the shots started coming in, or the guy started shooting, and I tried to duck, but I wanted to see.
And then a red vehicle started shooting at her.
The rapid gunfire set off a nearby shot spotter. The audio sensor alerts police to the sound of gunfire. 2 women reported the shooting. A car was struck, and a business also damaged.
I wanted to reverse, but I was kind of trapped, but I really couldn't go anywhere. I was stuck.
The first shots are fired from an automatic rifle. But as the video shows, the magazine appears to drop out from the gun. That's when the shooter seemingly grabs another gun. The sound of the shots are different.
He starts shooting, and all of a sudden the magazine falls off.
That's
and
crazy.
So he stopped shooting. Otherwise, man, it could have been a lot worse.
The light turns green. Huber makes his getaway as he inhales a sigh of relief.
Wow.
Now, nobody was hit by those bullets.
That's
Detectives
crazy.
believe that red car that the shooters were in was a red Nissan Altima. Huber says that he got that dash cam installed about 6 months ago after an accident, but never did he think that that dash cam would be the key piece of evidence
That's just
in a
crazy.
shootout. No arrests have been made.
Broad daylight. That's Chicago. Lori Lightfoot ain't worried about that stuff though. She worried about some systematic racism that never stopped me from doing anything or achieving anything. That's what she's worried about. Some phantom systematic racism, while her people is getting freaking shot at in broad daylight in traffic. Man, it's sickening. It's sickening. Here we go. World Health Organization recommends masks and social distancing for everyone, vaccinated and unvaccinated, due to COVID Delta variant. I told you it was coming. I told you it was coming. And you know Joe Biden's gonna follow suit, even though he said he didn't foresee us shutting down again. It's coming. The first round ain't do enough, so we got to do it again. I told you guys it was coming. Here we go. World Health Organization recommends masks and social distancing for everyone, vaccinated and unvaccinated, due to COVID Delta variant. Like I said, I told you it was coming. The China-funded World Health Organization, and we went over that before. We talked about how China pretty much runs the World Health Organization now. Is recommending masks and social distancing for everyone, vaccinated and unvaccinated, due to the COVID Delta variant. Vaccines alone won't stop community transmission. Dr. Mariangela Samayo, World Health Organization's Assistant Director General for Access to Medicines and Health Products, said, quote, "People need to continue to use masks consistently, be in ventilated spaces, hand hygiene, the physical distancing, avoid crowding. This still continues to be extremely important, even if you're vaccinated, when you have a community transmission going on." So what's the point of getting vaccinated if you still have to do this stuff? That's my question. Fox News reported, as the highly contagious Delta variant of the coronavirus gained traction around the world, the World Health Organization urged vaccinated people to continue to wear masks and social distancing, according to reports. The recommendation comes weeks after the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said vaccinated people can go most places without masks. However, federal mandates remain on airplanes, for example. The vaccines are considered highly effective against the Delta variant, according to a recent study by British government, although slightly less than the original strain. But the World Health Organization urged those vaccinated to play it safe. But if the studies say the vaccine works for the variant, why do we have to, quote, play it safe and wear a mask? Because so many remain unvaccinated globally, and the variant has become the main spreader in several countries, CNBC reported. Authoritarians are already using the Delta variant to justify a new round of lockdowns and mandates. I told you guys it was coming. It's never ending. They want us locked up forever. That's what this whole thing is about. The Australian city of Sydney just went into a 2-week hard lockdown after more than 80 new cases of the Delta variant of COVID-19 were confirmed. Israel reinstated its mask mandate because of the Delta variant. But the vaccine is supposed to work. So what's the point of all this? I told you guys it was coming. It's going to be never-ending vaccines. It's going to be never-ending lockdowns. It's going to be never-ending social distancing and never-ending mask wearing. It's part of the system. This is what the system wants. They talk about systematic racism. This is what the people up top want. I don't know if you call it racism. It's more like classism is what is going on. The rulers that be want more control. So this is what this real. This is what the systematic stuff that's going on. It has nothing to do with racism. Lori Lightfoot. It's more than that. It's classism. They want to control and run everyone and everything. That's what this whole thing is about. It's not just racism. They don't hate you because of your skin. They hate you because of your class. To them, we're all useless eaters. All right. Economist Stephen Moore warns that Democrats are planning on adding $22 trillion in debt over the next decade, nearly doubling the debt. I mean, they're gonna spend us into oblivion. Innocent bystanders shot in Times Square outside of Marriott. We talked about that. This is another thing. I mean, people are just getting shot in broad daylight with witnesses around. People aren't caring. This is what happened when you get rid of morality. It used to be rules to this stuff. You know, no children, no women. Now it's just a free for all. And this is what happened when you get rid of morality. At least there were some rules back in the day. All right, let's see. I just got an alert. Bitcoin is up 5%. That's pretty good. The past 18 hours. It's a good alert. All right, let's see. National Archives Racism Task Force says Rotunda example of structural racism. I went over that one. Let's see. Breaking radical Oregon Democrats pass bill to give illegals Medicaid. Talked about that. D.C. mayor lies to Congress. So then Associated Press and Washington Post worked hard to cover for her. And this is a great point. I'm actually like 3/4 of the way done into a book that I'm writing about the media and about propaganda and about lies in the media. It's gonna have a bunch of history in it, and then some current events showing the propaganda and stuff that they've been pushing in our media, social media, mainstream media. It's all propaganda, and I'm gonna teach you guys how to discern through the propaganda and weed through it like I do every day to figure out the truth, because the truth is out there, but they're not gonna tell you. You're gonna have to go research it on your own. So I'm gonna teach you how to do your own research. All right, but back to this story. Fact check: D.C. mayor lies to Congress. So then Associated Press and Washington Post work hard to cover for her. Let's see. Washington D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser told a Senate committee that there had been only one day of rioting in the nation's capital in 2020. This lie was easily debunked via newspaper reports, arrest records, and incidents reports. And they got the receipts, of course. Even though this was only the second time the issue of the D.C. statehood has ever been formally discussed in Congress, and even though the questioning between Senator Johnson and the answers from the D.C. mayor relate to major ongoing stories such as Democrat policy priorities, crime, violence, January 6th protests, rioting, BLM, race. Most of the mainstream media chose to ignore the exchange and the hearing. Of course, they don't want to keep people informed on real issues. That's what the thing is. They don't want you to know these things are happening, so they're not going to cover it. That's why you have to go in and do your own research. One of the most pernicious powers of the media is to decide what's worthy of preserving and what's not. And when reporting the same story, the same topic of whom to portray as reasonable and who is not, who is partisan and who is objective, who is extreme and who is mainstream, the powers of the media is on display every day in every way, and the reporters assigned to the stories, their editors who curate their work, and publishers and corporations who oversee the business, and even advertisers who finance their work, all have significant bias that is often hard to detect. And this goes into some stuff. I think I'm actually going to save this article And so this is a pretty good article, and they source everything here. Yeah, I'm actually gonna use this article for my book. So let me save this article real quick. Add the tag book. Not books to read. What tag do I have for my books? Research maybe. One second, y'all bear with me. I'll figure it out later. Alright. Let's see what else we got going on. Definitely gonna source that article for my propaganda book that I'm writing. Alright. Let's check out Zero Hedge. Over here on the left. Biden orders series airstrike along Syria-Iraq border. Oh, wow. Here we go. Couldn't wait to start a war. Couldn't wait. The Biden administration has confirmed the president ordered Sunday night airstrikes on multiple militant encampments along the Iraq-Syria border in order to protect U.S. personnel, as an official Department of Defense statement in the aftermath indicated. I mean, why are we still in these regions in the first place? That's the question. And now everything to flip-flop. And now it's crazy. You see it all over the news this week. Democrats are actually, they actually want to fund the military. They actually, because I guess because of the whole woke stuff that's going on in the military now, Democrats actually want to fund the military, and Republicans actually want to defund the military because of all the woke stuff. I mean, just if you would have told me this last year, I would have called you a liar that they were going to flip flop on funding of the military now, and the military new woke agenda. We talked about that with General Milley. It's crazy, but the Biden administration has confirmed the president ordered Sunday night airstrikes on multiple militant encampments along with Iraq-Syria border in order to protect U.S. personnel, as an official Department of Defense statement in aftermath indicated. At President Biden's direction, he don't even know where he is half the time. So how is he going to order an airstrike? But at President Biden's direction, U.S. military forces earlier this evening conducted defense precision airstrikes against facilities used by Iran-backed militia groups in the Iraq-Syria border region. The late Sunday statement reads, it was reportedly a response to ongoing drone attacks conducted by Iran allied forces in both countries. Sure. Such airstrikes began growing commonplace during the last year of the Trump administration amid growing tit-for-tat attacks between Iranian-backed Iraqi militias, but has been rare for the Biden White House, only happening one prior time in February that was publicly disclosed. The DoD press statement added that the latest attack, the targets were selected because these facilities are utilized by Iran-backed militias that are engaged in unmasked aerial UAV attacks against U.S. personnel and facilities in Iraq. Specifically, the U.S. strikes targeted operational and weapons storage facilities at 2 locations in Syria and 1 location in Iraq, both of which lie close to the border between those countries. Several Iran-backed militia groups, including Kata'ib Hezbollah and Kata'ib Sayyad al-Sahada, use these facilities. So there you have it. Another bombing, more war. Par for course. Alright. Let's see. Iran refuses to grant IAEA access to nuclear facilities. Quote, agreement has expired. Ropino, no victim. U.S. women's soccer team earned more than men's team. Let's see. White House response to report saying Biden to reverse Trump's Golan Heights policy. Okay. I told you he's reversing everything, every single Trump policy. Decentralized finance, DeFi 101. Let's see. FAA denies Boeing permission to move forward in certifying 777X due to serious flight test incident. Hedge fund CIO. Our growing acceptance of ever wilder conspiracy theories has numbed us to everything. U.S. case against Assange struck major blow as key witness admits he lied. Let's see. That's interesting. And what they doing to that man is horrible. U.S. case against Assange struck major blow as key witness admits he lied. The U.S. government case against Julian Assange may have been on shaky legal ground after one of their main witnesses, Icelander Sigurdur Ingi Thordarson, I know I killed his name, but admitted to fabricating key accusations contained in the DOJ's indictment, according to stunning admissions to Stoughton magazine. Thordarson, a documented sociopath and convicted pedophile who was also engaged in a wide-ranging financial fraud, was recruited by U.S. authorities as a key witness against Assange after he misled them into believing he was a close associate of the WikiLeaks founder. I mean, they just used this guy because they knew they're really trying to get after Assange. This dude is dirty, and they said he's a known sociopath and a pedophile. And I mean, let's see what this article says. He also lied about his position within the whistleblower organization, admitting that he established avenues of communication with journalists, had media pay for lavish trips abroad where he misrepresented himself as an official representative of WikiLeaks. He also admitted to stealing documents from WikiLeaks staff by copying their hard drives, including that of WikiLeaks lawyer Renita Avila, who worked for both the organization and Assange. Quote, in fact, he had volunteered on a limited basis to raise money for WikiLeaks in 2010, but was found to have used that opportunity to embezzle more than $50,000 from the organization. This dude is just terrible. Sick bastard. What's more, Thordarson confessed to Stundin that he continued his crime spree whilst working with the Department of Justice and the FBI and receiving promise of immunity from prosecution. Wow. And the FBI knew he was lying, but they didn't care because they wanted Assange. They knew he was lying. These are FBI trained agents. They could tell when people are lying. They knew he was lying, but they wanted Assange so bad they ignored the lies. The United States is currently seeking Assange extradition from the United Kingdom in order to try him for espionage related to the release of leaked classified documents. If convicted, he'll be up to 175 years in prison. The indictment has sparked fears for press freedoms in the United States and beyond and prompted strong statements in support of Assange from Amnesty International, Reporters Without Borders, the editorial staff of the Washington Post, and many others. Let's see. The addition to Assange's original indictment was meant to bolster the DOJ's case alleging illegal activity in Iceland, including attempts to hack into the computers of members of parliament and record their conversations. Thordarson now admits that Assange never asked him to hack or access phone records of MPs, and now says that he receives files from a third party who claimed to have recorded the officials, offering to share them with Assange despite claiming to have no idea what they actually contain. Thordarson claimed he never looked at the files and has no idea they contain audio. If they contain audio recording of his third-party source suggests. What's more, Assange never instructed or asked him to access computers to try to find such recordings, he now says. So my question is the United States government going to drop charges against Julian Assange because this dude turned out to be lying? He went to a paper and went to a magazine and admitted he was lying. So what is the FBI going to do now with Assange? They want him so bad. They are not going to let Assange go, even though there's evidence right here showing that the man is innocent. The FBI is still not going to let him off. We know when the FBI wants you, they can get you. All right, let's see. Let's see. Decentralized hedge fund. Just the news. Let's check here. Just the news. Before Florida building collapsed, 2018 report found it needed more than $9 million in repairs. National Archives report says structural racism impacts the agency. Governor Ron DeSantis says Florida was the leading state fighting against coronavirus lockdowns. And again, earlier we talked about they want to use the variant to lock down again. The World Health Organization already said we got to go back to social distancing even if you're vaccinated. Oklahoma City Council cuts mayor's proposed policy budget by millions. Child tax credit expansion for filers without income raises fraud concerns. You think? Just like the PPP loans, a major fraud. What do you think this is going to do? Let's see. Fewer ships, more equity. Navy grows weak while growing woke. Critics warn. It's ruining the military. Judge stops Fed from seizing safe deposit boxes of $85 million raid, citing due process rights. Alright, let's see. Let's check out the Daily Caller here. Man shot by group of robbers for his watch, police say. Report man shot in Times Square. Urban Meyer discussed the Tebow future. Doesn't inspire a ton of optimism. Lori Lightfoot wants to fight racism while crime runs rampant in Chicago. We talked about that. We saw someone get shot at in broad daylight in the parking lot. And Lori Lightfoot is working on so-called systematic racism. When you got people getting gunned down in your town in broad daylight, come on. Let's see. U.S. Olympia turns away from flag, covers her head with T-shirt during national anthem. Nobody cares about that. Her. We don't have to talk about conditions. Cedric Richmond won't say whether Biden will sign standalone bipartisan bill. Let's see. The Hill. Harris postpones trip to Detroit. New York prosecutor give Trump org lawyers Monday deadline report. Flintstone's house owners settle lawsuit with town over statues. An exhausting year take toll on the nation's mayors. Turkish riot police use tear gas to break up Pride Parade. Ron Johnson calls for Republicans to run for local office and take back our culture. Bill Kristol says he won't be surprised by Michael Flynn presidential bid. Can't stand Bill Kristol. Let's see. Let's check out the Washington Examiner here. Manchin says there's absolutely a passable infrastructure deal in Congress. Trump says opponent used COVID to steal the election. Applauds election investigations in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Of course, we knew that. We knew that's what this whole thing was about. In fact, that's why I believe China intentionally leaked this the coronavirus from the lab. You know, I said that from the beginning. Let's see. Trump bashes woke generals. Meet the cast and character challenge of Liz Cheney in Wyoming. Let's see. Biden, Derek Chauvin, 22 and a half years. Senate seems to be appropriate. At the border, Harris focused on root causes. We talked about that. Senator White Guy and Democrats show just how fake their fight against racism really is. They talk about White House because he has a membership to an all-white beach club. I told you it's okay to be racist if you got a D next to your name. Let's see. UFO display tech U.S. doesn't have and can't defend against, ex-intelligence chief Ratcliffe says. Bill Barr called Trump election fraud claims bull S. Book says. Federal land in northwest Colorado move into stricter fire restrictions. Kindergarten will be required in Louisiana after Edwards signed legislation. Let's see. Police ignorant scrutiny, not money, compounding Illinois recruitment problems. We went over most of those already. Let's see. Daily Wire. Chip Roy, Texans wondering what good is it to be part of a union that won't secure its own borders. That's true. Let's see. That's how you put blank in the seats. A's in the seats. Dave Portnoy applauds Fox host who called him a little B. Let's see. Jail Canadian pastor alleges double standard for Muslims regarding lockdown enforcement. Let's see. Death toll rises in weekend after condo collapse. Over 150 people still missing. That's sad. Report Disney wants Boba Fett ship in Star Wars renamed will not will no longer use slave I. Okay, whatever. Biden backtrack. President now says he will not veto infrastructure deal. Protester at Springsteen on Broadway object to vaccine segregation. You know, if these people want to be ignorant, they just don't patronize them. I'm not. I mean, if you gotta have your vaccine and you're gonna charge me higher prices, then I don't need to be there. It's simple as that. It's not somewhere I want to be in the first place. Let's see. The Federalists, the cottagecore aesthetic is giving Generation Z girls a rendezvous with femininity. I don't know. I don't know what they're talking about there. But let's see. Bachelor viewership tanked by more than 1 million because race politics. Alright, let's see. Epic Times. Unprecedented. Northwest heat wave builds records fall. Serena to skip Tokyo Games declines to explain reasons. Bowman zips past Larson after late flat and wins at Pocono. Rising star Malone headlines men Olympics. It's a lot of sports stuff in the Epoch Times for some reason. Let's see. Facebook can be sued by sex trafficking. Texas Supreme Court rules. Good on them. I'm glad somebody finally going after Facebook and I mean, because if they can censor you from talking or speaking about certain things, how come they can't stop freaking sex trafficking on there? It's because they are allowing it. It's plain and simple. They got algorithms that can stop anything. If they wanted to stop sex trafficking on their site, they would be able to. They could have an algorithm for that. Let's see, 542% increase in convicted sex offenders arrested at border. So he just got the borders wide open and letting these sex offenders in. Let's see, Breitbart, anonymous donor to pay repair bill after thieves cut church power. Police officer saves 6-week-old baby from choking to death. Ooh, excuse me. Doulas create abortion book for kids to normalize it as another outcome of pregnancy. Daytime Emmy Award mix-up. 2 black actresses during memoriam tribute. Oh, man. All black people look alike, right? Let's see. Car burglaries rise 753% in San Francisco as city reopens. Dillingapore, thousands converge on London for anti-lockdown rally. Ignore again by MSM. Of course, they wouldn't want to report they don't report the news. They report propaganda. Again, look out for my book when it comes out soon. Media propaganda and how to discern the truth in the age of lies. Age of deceit. I'm sorry. I can't remember my byline. Let's see. CNN Stelter, FNC Hannity, Dark Dire language. It's fundamentally authoritarianism. Wow. CNN just do not stop with the ignorance. Let's see. PJ Media. Boston, pro-Palestinian thugs spit at and curse pro-Israel activists. Search and rescue teams digging tunnels throughout the rubble of the collapse. That's sad what's going on out there in Florida. U.S. Catholic bishop says there will be no national policy on denying communion to pro-abortion politicians. Wow. So I don't know who really has the who really controls the Catholic Church, the U.S. Catholic bishops, or that group that met that decided that. I don't know. But being anti-abortion is a foundation in the Catholic Church. So, I don't know. It could be a fight on their hands. Let's see. Portland's Antifa-loving and police-hating DA vies for Worst Prosecutor of the Year award with his latest move. Let's see. I'm not even going to click on that. North Koreans heartbroken over image of emaciated Kim Jong-un. Iran says it will no longer give images from nuclear sites to IAEA. Let's see. Bongino report. Oregon lawmakers passed bill making illegal immigrants eligible for Medicaid. They're going to bankrupt Oregon. But, like I always said, they vote for these horrible policies. I have no empathy for them when their economy tanks, because common sense will prevail. I mean, it's gonna prevail no matter what. You don't have to believe in or use common sense, but when reality hits, it hits, and then there's no way to fund this stuff. So they voted for it. They're gonna get it, and when the stuff collapses, I'm gonna hit you with another "I told you so." All right, let's see what meme investors can learn from the Fannie Freddie collapse. Iran stopped sharing images of nuclear site. We talked about that. Trump joins YouTube competitor Rumble. CNN's Chris Cuomo wears socks with skull to site of Florida condo. I mean, they have no... I mean, why would you think that's okay? Why would you think that's okay? Let's see. 2 U.S. drones downed over Yemen weren't U.S. militaries. Israel is the secret nuclear weapon superpower no one talks about. I mean, it's an open secret. Everybody know Israel have nukes. Let's see. World Net Daily. Pictures of Florida condo complex from years ago show obvious signs of major structural damage. Felon on supervised release accused of gunning down man in front of his kids on Father's Day. Wow. Condo company hit with class action lawsuit after building collapse in Florida. Tour de France disaster strikes after fan crosses line. Fans in shock, 5,000 birds unaccounted for on one of the very worst days in pigeon racing history. Let's see. Jews in Hungary protest law against sharing gay content with minors. Let's see. Study nearly 20% of young adults are wasting prime years doing absolutely nothing. Wow. Free Beacon. Roads rage. Death from above. Chinese space station, a looming threat to U.S., experts say. Democrats have a discipline problem, and the only solution is clover your life into 2024. What? Wow. Let's see. Virginia PTA moves to eliminate school parent group after anti-critical race theory candidates elected. We went over that earlier. Let's see. President Jennifer Rubin watched the Post columnists get results with DOJ lawsuit. All right. Let's see. DNYUZ. How to watch tonight's BET Awards online. I didn't even know that was tonight. So it's going on right now, actually. U.S. Olympian Gwen Berry faces backlash for snub of Stars and Stripes. Analysis: Chinese flock to homegrown brand and golden opportunity for investors. Let's see. Chicago crazy. Dash cam. We went over that. We showed that video earlier. A confused Biden team risks losing Southeast Asia. U.S. carries out airstrikes. We went over that. Navy Tic Tac UFO witness demands public apology for years of ridicule. All right. Let's see. Free Republic. Where are we on time? All right, we got good time. Let's see. Radical Oregon Democrat passed bill to give illegals Medicaid. Talked about that. Unemployed rolls shrink faster in states that cut federal benefits. Let's see. Breaking. Radical Oregon Democrats. We went over that. Biden quietly signs race-conscious executive order that will destroy Americans' government. I don't know anything about. I haven't heard about that. Let's see. Biden quietly signed race-conscious executive order that will destroy America's government. When it comes to making news and dropping press releases, there are certain rules regarding the days of the week they're dropped. Big economic or policy news that government or companies want everyone talking about for the whole entire week drops on Monday or Tuesday. And I think Tuesday is like the greatest news days. I love Tuesdays. A whole bunch of crazy stuff when information comes out on Tuesdays, I think. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays for a quick hit. Releases that should be in the news cycle for a day or two before fading away. As for Friday, that's when you drop things you want to be forgotten about over the weekend. And I really love reading the news on Friday for that fact, because I know it's stuff that'll go under the radar and people won't know about. On Friday, Joe Biden signed an executive order that is getting infuriatingly little press and next to no pushback from the GOP. Hopefully, outrage will pick up steam starting Monday because it represents one of the greatest threats to our government. And while I'm not one who ever supports government questionable grasp of power, this particular threat is a plague that will topple the entirety of our system. Wow, that's big. Let's see. First, the background, according to the Daily Caller. Joe Biden signed an executive order on Friday that ensures that every part of the federal government will conduct race-conscious diversity training and engage in race-conscious hiring. So no longer it has anything to do with merit. It's going to be on your race, not on your merit. Exact opposite of what Martin Luther King preached for years. The exact opposite of what our country has been teaching for years. Content or character. No, they're talking about it's going to be on your race. Oh, this is the new America. The executive order establishes an ambitious whole of government initiative that will take a systematic approach to embedding DEIA, that's diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility in federal hiring and employment practices, according to a White House fact sheet. In practice, it will ensure the federal agencies employ tenets associated with critical race theory, CRT, within the hiring practices and day-to-day activities. Oh man, this is crazy. So there you have it. CRT is officially in our government now because of this executive order. People are going to get hired because of their race, not because of their merit, not because of their experience, not because of their know-how. They're going to be hired on their race. As if our government isn't already horrible with incompetent people. It's going to be a lot more incompetent. Alright, let's see. Alright, so let's check out Fox News. Axios, Jonathan Swan accuses Biden of gaslighting on infrastructure legislation. Brought woes in dry U.S. West raised July 4th firework fears. And I keep saying the Almanac reported that it's going to be one of the driest winters on record. Driest summers on record. And the West is going to be super duper dry. It's going to be terrible, terrible drought. Let's see. U.S. military launches airstrikes against 3 facilities in Iraq, Syria border. Talked about that. Families of the missing visit the site. Let's see. Tyra says, why does Gwen Berry want to compete in the Olympics if she hates her country so much? That's a great point. Fair point. Arkansas duo accused of killing police officer face additional charges. MSNBC guest blames cowardly police for rising crime. Claims they are butthurt. What? Oh, man. This is... Oh, my gosh. So now it's the police fault that crime is going up. I'm not even. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not even going to go on that one. Let's see. Media Research Center. Contemptible U.S. Olympic athlete turns away. We talked about that. Philippine President Duterte to his people. You choose vaccine or I will have you jailed. Everyone on that. Alright, so let's see. Let's try something else. New York Post. Let's go over New York Post. Cardi B is pregnant, expecting second child with husband Offset. Islanders. That's sports. Let's see. Brooklyn Navy Yard salutes neighborhood with new public spaces. How to watch BET Awards. Let's see. 4 more ID'd in Florida collapse. 3 media lies about critical race theory and other commentary. Yeah, let's check this out. Y'all know I like talking about CRT. We need to get it out of our schools. They need to get it out of our politics. They just need to get rid of CRT. Alright, 3 media lies about critical race theory and other commentary. Media Watch. 3 press lies about CRT. Quote, sensing that they are losing control of the narrative on race, left-leaning media outlets have launched a furious counterattack against critics of race theories, writes Christopher F. Rufo at the Wall Street Journal. Quote, liberal pundits have begun spinning a new mythology that presents critical race theory as a benign academic concept, casts its detractors as right-wing extremists driven by racial resentment, and portray legislation against critical race theory as an attempt to ban teaching about history of slavery and racism. First of all, they always taught the history of racism and slavery in schools. I was taught it. I actually went to special programs to learn more about it, which is different than way different than this fake critical race theory that's not based on any history, that teaches that every white person is an oppressor and all black people are oppressed. That is not history. That is not truth. That is false. And that's just basically turning people into victims. Telling you that you can't achieve something because of your race. Alright, let's see. But all 3 charges are false. CRT is a radical lens that aims to overthrow bedrock American principles. The anti-CRT coalition is, quote, nonpartisan, multiracial, and mainstream, and far from censoring the teaching of history, including history of slavery and racism. Bans against CRT are aiming at preventing brainwashing. That's true. The opposite of real historical inquiry. Yeah, it's not. I mean, historians came out and blasted and said the information that it is false. Bottom line, Americans should have no hesitation in opposing CRT. And I would agree. Alright. Foreign Desk. Britain's brilliant revolt. Quote, in defiance of virtually the entire elite and in the face of relentless, well-oiled campaign of fear that said leaving the EU would propel the UK into a grim future of food shortages, medicine scarcity, and probably fascism to boot, Brits voted 5 years ago to exit the European Union. Cheers, Spike and Brendan O'Neill. Like, I don't understand, how are they not out of the Union yet, the European Union yet? Why does it take this long to get your sovereignty back? The epic, shattering decision shocked politicians and pundits who demanded a second referendum to correct the destructive idiocy of low-educated masses. Sorry. I'm struggling right now. Let's see. The merciful, bloodless civil war between the people and the elites that followed gave us historic clarity. Elites' bitter rage confirmed that they don't believe people have the right to play a greater role in determining the fate of the nation and the fate of their lives. That's what, and I contend the same thing. The same could be true for here. We're too dumb to make our own decisions, so let us politicians make the decisions for you. When it's supposed to be we the people, not we the government. The government no longer represents the people. Parents are, quote, rebelling against left-wing indoctrination of their children at school, and the counter-evolution might just be enough to topple the edifice of left-wing lies about our culture, hopes the Washington Examiner Hugo Gurdon. The woke militants who reckon an ordinary American remaining docile made a huge miscalculation. Most people can live with busybodies messing up policy, but mess with their children and you've woken the kraken. That's true. Don't play with the kids. Even those uninterested in left-wing ideology have learned the hard way that left-wing ideology is interested in them and their children. They know that the radical theories invading schools aim to displace rational analysis with passionate advocacy to dragoon the next generation into a movement designed to destroy the institutions, the culture, the wealth, and the success of America. That's what it's all about. It's all about destroying America. Conservatives, is J.D. Vance Trump 2.0? I don't know who J.D. Vance is. J.D. Vance is the man Republicans have been praying for since the day Donald Trump stormed to the party's presidential nomination 5 years ago. Daniel McCarthy notes at The Spectre, the hillbilly elegy author and Ohio Senate candidate has a lot of traits of that conservatives liked about Trump. He too is a political outsider, speaks to disaffect the working classes, and embrace the populist policy mix. His candidacy put to the test the much debated question of whether the positive side of Trump Republicans can win elections, including the party's own primaries, without the ex-president's uniquely galvanizing personality. But as a memorabilia, storytelling might be one of Vance's pitfalls. Quote, the very posh that makes him appealing to voters who found Trump too abrasive also makes his delivery rather dull. He looks and sounds like what he is today, a Yale law graduate who made money as a venture capitalist and published a national bestseller. Let's see. Urban Beat. Blue leaders blame for crime. President Biden tried to blame legal gun owners for the recent surge in crime in blue cities and states, and ended up eschewing the main reason for the crime wave: poor leadership in Democrat-run cities. That's what I've been arguing. And John Gabriel at the Arizona Republic. Until all Americans, left and right, have confidence in law enforcement, both crime and gun sales will increase. And that's true. There's a direct correlation, I think, between crime and guns skyrocketing. Yeah, but that's a pretty good article. I know it's opinion. I try to not read too much opinion. Try to go with more or less facts. But that was a pretty interesting opinion piece. I agree with the majority of that piece. Let's see. New York Post. Let's see, where are we? A-Rod deal to buy the Minnesota Timberwolves is about to get tested. James Patterson has a new hit book with former President Bill Clinton. I read about that. Andrew Giuliani releases poll claiming lead in GOP race to take on Governor Cuomo. All right. One America News. Let's see. BOJ's climate scheme must be made flexible. Mexican billionaire Salinas says his banking business may embrace Bitcoin. Maybe that's why my Bitcoin went up today. Asian shares start on cautious note amid rising COVID-19 cases. Queensland's tightened COVID-19 curb amid Australian outbreak. U.S. carries out airstrike. We talked about that. Germany seek to ban British travelers from EU. So here we go all over again. They're going to shut stuff down again. I know it's coming. Police checks and patriotic flowers. Beijing leaves nothing to chance ahead of parties. Sanitary. Let's see. Newsmax, the last and only foreign scientist in Wuhan lab speaks out. Let's see this one. The last and only foreign scientist in the Wuhan lab speaks out. Danielle Anderson was working in what has become the world's most notorious laboratory just weeks before the first known cases of COVID-19 emerged in central China. Yet the Australian virologist still wonders what she missed. An expert in bat-borne viruses, Anderson is the only foreign scientist to have undertaken research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, BSL-4, the first in the mainland China equipped to handle the planet's deadliest pathogens. Her most recent stint ended in November 2019, giving Anderson an insider perspective on a place that became a flashpoint in search for what caused the worst pandemic in a century. The emergence of the coronavirus in the same city where Institute scientists, clad head to toe in protective gear, study that exact family of viruses have stoked speculation that it might have leaked from the lab, possibly via an infected staffer or a contaminated object. China's lack of transparency since the earliest days of the outbreak fueled those suspicions, which have been seized on by the U.S. that turns out the quest to uncover the origins of the virus critical for preventing future pandemics into a geopolitical minefield. But like I said from the beginning, it was leaked on purpose from the Wuhan lab. The work of the lab and the director of its emerging infectious disease section, Xizing Li, a longtime colleague of Anderson, dubbed Batwoman, and we've done reports on Xizing Li, several on her. But Batwoman, for her work hunting viruses in caves, is now shrouded in controversy. The U.S. has questioned the lab's safety and alleged its scientists were engaged in continuous gain-of-function research that manipulated viruses in a manner that could have made them more dangerous. It's a stark contrast to the place Anderson described in an interview with Bloomberg News, the first in which she shared details about working at the lab. Half-truths and distorted information have obscured an accurate accounting of the lab's functions and activities, which were more routine than how they've been portrayed in the media, she said. Quote, "It's not that it was boring, but it was a regular lab that worked the same way as many other high contaminant labs," Anderson said. "What people are saying is just not how it is." Now at Melbourne's Peter Doherty Institute of Infection and Immunity, Anderson began collaborating with Wuhan researchers in 2016 when she was scientific director of the biosafety lab at Singapore's Duke NUS Medical School. Her research, which focused on why lethal viruses like Ebola and Nipah cause no disease in the bats in which they perpetually circulate, complemented studies underway at the Chinese institutes would offer funding to encourage international collaboration. A rising star in the virology community, Anderson says her work on Ebola in Wuhan was the realization of a lifelong career goal. Her favorite movie is Outbreak. Of course it is, the 1995 film in which disease experts responded to dangerous new virus, a job Anderson said she wanted to do. For her, that meant working on Ebola in a high contaminated laboratory. Okay, let's see. It's a lot to unpackage here. Maybe I'll break this down and do a whole report on this because, yeah, it's kind of long. So I'll come back to this one. Let's see. We got a couple more minutes here. See if there's anything else interesting we can break down before we end this. Let's see. Newsmax, Post Millennial, How NBC News was used by the CCP to further the demise of democracy in Hong Kong. China accused the Apple Daily. White influencer identifies as Korean undergoes plastic surgery to look like K-pop idol Oli London. Oh my gosh. They are taking it too far. Let's see. Washington Standard, critical race theory as a means of coercive thought reform. Losing finders, the buried documents that link the infamous child sex cult to the CIA. Victory of the Fourth Amendment, Supreme Court rules that hot pursuit over drivers' loud music doesn't justify warrantless home invasion. Duh. And why do you need a Supreme Court ruling on that? 1984, George Orwell travels to future in order to save the past. Facebook, we talked about that. World Health Organization backtracks advice to not give children the experimental gene therapy shot. Yeah, that's what I said from the beginning. That's what I said from the beginning. Let's see. World Health Organization backtracks advice to not give children the experimental gene therapy shot. It says, not too long after the World Health Organization declared that children should refrain from the COVID-19 jab, they backtracked. Now they are saying that it is less urgent, that children should be shot up with the jab. So they're saying they should be. No. Why? They have a low chance of getting it. Low chance of death. Why take an experimental jab? Let's see. Earlier this week, the World Health Organization made a declaration that children did not need to get the experimental jab, but still get all their other hundreds of shots on the vaccine schedule. There is not yet enough evidence on the use of jabs against COVID-19 in children to make recommendation for children to get the jab against the virus. Children and adolescents tend to have milder disease compared to adults. However, children should continue to have the recommended childhood jabs. World Health Organization. Now their website reads, children and adolescents tend to have milder disease compared to adults, so unless they are part of a group at high risk of severe COVID-19, it is less urgent to jab them than older people, those with chronic health conditions, and health workers. More evidence is needed on the use of different COVID-19 jabs in children to be able to make general recommendations on jabbing children against the virus, World Health Organization said. Everyone should have been expecting this, which I was. We know the World Health Organization is not in our corner, nor are they in any way concerned about our health. That's true. In our article, the World Health Organization does not recommend COVID shots for children. We said this isn't over, and probably some kind of psychological operation for the World Health Organization to gain some trust for those who are still vaccine hesitant, especially when it comes to their kids. It looks like that was correct assessment. Yeah, and I believed the whole thing in the first place. I believed it in the first place. I knew they were going to flip-flop on that. Like they flip-flop on everything. Don't need a mask, now you need a mask. Then you don't need a mask, then you need 3 masks. Children don't need the jab. Now maybe they need the jab, and even though their chance of getting it is low, you should get the jab. Like they're messing with people's heads, man. And they're falling for everything that they say because it's the World Health Organization, not knowing that they're owned pretty much by China. They got their puppet. China has their puppet in running the World Health Organization, who's a terrorist actually. China propped this guy up. I can't pronounce his name. From Africa. Let's see. Is there anything else we need to need to go over. National Review. Progressive education against religion, substitute polyamorous sexuality. Ideas matter, and so do books we read. Anything else we might need to go over? Black News Channel, members of Black Asians, gift of gab dies at 50. Derek Chauvin sentenced to over 20 years murder for George Floyd. Let's see. Yeah, I think make sure it's nothing pressing. I hate missing important news. Former Attorney General called Trump's election fraud. Boy, yeah, we went over that. Yeah, I think that's enough news for today. For we kind of do stuff when I get a chance. I kind of do headlines when I get a chance. I stay busy during the week. I'm a psychotherapist, so I stay busy during the week. Work at a prison in the mornings, then I see clients in the evening. So when I kind of get it in when I can, so that way, so when y'all will know, get news, get alerts when I come on, hit that alarm button, so YouTube can let you know when I'm going live. And subscribe, like, share, and subscribe, and check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com, and you can donate through there. Let me know what you think about this, and I'll see y'all next time.
J-Roll Electronic Productions, baby.